This video instruction covers a startup of the UPS system. Note that currently we do have utility and the bypass breaker is closed. We're going to stay in bypass throughout the whole process, and you can return from bypass after the unit has already been started. We're going to take the key, make sure it's in the local position. That gives us access to the controls. We can check our UPS unit. Note that the diesel obviously is not running. Generator voltage and frequency is 0. It's a simple process of just hitting the on button on the HMI. You'll notice that the diesel is now starting and is coming up slowly as it grabs the shaft and brings the shaft up along with it. As we're doing this, the AVR is turning on for the generator, and we're seeing voltage steadily rise as well, approaching 4160, and the hertz will approach 60 as well. Note that the operational button is flashing. That's because we are in a startup process. It will flash anytime we're starting up or we're actually in bypass. After some time, we're going to energize the DC windings in the outer rotor and grab onto the inner rotor and bring it up to about 1800 RPM. All the while, the diesel will remain at 1800 and regulate to 60 Hertz. Also, the diesel will be synchronizing to the utility, and eventually the Q1 breaker will close when the unit is ready to close it. But we can continue to monitor here just to make sure that everything is looking good on our UPS screen. You'll note that the chem is now up to 1800 RPM, and now the pony motor comes into play, and we'll grab onto it and take it up the rest of the way, all the way to 4200 RPM. Again, at this point, the unit is synchronizing to the utility, and after a short time, it will be closing Q1. There we have closing of the Q1 breaker, so now we are actually utility connected, and because of that, we're going to fall down to idle speed on our diesel. Meanwhile, our inner rotor of our flywheel continues to rise, being driven by the pony motor. You can check your alarms. You'll note that the radiator also is running for the diesel. So the diesel will run this way for about 2 or 3 minutes in idle, and then eventually it will shut down as well. We are effectively in UPS operation, connected to utility, but of course we're still in bypass. We will remain in bypass until the inner rotor comes up all the way to 4200 RPM. It's a steady rise for the flywheel, and it can take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes for a startup. Now you see the diesel is starting to shut down because it's gone through its cool down time. As the flywheel continues to rise, approaching 4200 RPM, you can check your alarms once again. You can clear the radiator indication. Again, we recommend that we stay in bypass until we're all the way up to 4200 RPM, and then you can return from bypass. That will be covered in another video. Process complete.